they got to king.
We'll take the boat now.
This is how the Overlords got their other
I don't know.
Why not let me paintings? How long is this one? Those paintings have somewhere usually always. And it is always bleeding. 6 rays to get dark times. Otherwise, the whole thing will collapse. Well, if you attempt to accommodate. To ensure that never happens, Raven must keep 6 minutes here. Because it is a spare space. They will lovely gift by the Raven Master. The actual door spurs, making some well built for transit blood soaked biscuits. Offers even another person to watch his first place. This is stop number 60. Absolutely, basically the Tower of London on the river cruise. Now, to the right-hand side is the New Scotland Yard, the headquarters for the Met Police. The revolving sign only stops spinning if an officer has lost his life in the course of duty. And also visible on the right-hand side of the bus is the internal flame, which burns forever to show the people of London as police services forever looking out for it. The Met Police were founded in 1829 by a Prime Minister called Robert Peel. Now, Robert, of course, is short for Bob, and this is why we call our police officers Bobbies, named after their founder, Robert Peel. Now this is stop number 18 on your maps. We connected for the House of Parliament and Westminster Pier. Stop number 18, exit for the House of Parliament and Westminster Pier. It is, yes. Past this pub, you can see a big list of names of monarchs whose reigns this pub has survived. Now, that was a particular favourite haunt of 2 famous authors, those being Charles Dickens and Mark Twain. So you're certainly stepping in a few footsteps when you go for a pint down at Ye Olde Cheshire Cheese. Then over here on the left-hand side is Peterborough Court, which is a really beautiful example of Art Deco architecture. One style of architecture that I hope makes a return with the next version of the 20s. But now, probably the main attraction of the City of London is quickly rising up over... Not exactly a tourist attraction, it's the second highest appeal corporate lands, but it is absolutely stunning inside. There you are strictly forbidden from taking photos inside the Royal Courts of Justice. If you're caught doing so, a very angry security guard will come over and confiscate your photo camera and delete everything that's on it. So if you're going to take those photos, do it very discreetly. Just passing a great big statue of a dragon now in the centre of the road, which means that we are now entering the City of London. So a little bit confusing. Of course, the whole city is London. The City of London is what we say to refer to the square mile or the banking district, which is the oldest part of the city. The City of London enjoys all sorts of privileges that the rest of London doesn't really get. For instance, they've got their own mayor. They've also got their own police service as well. You might see them out and about today. They traditionally wear black uniforms with red accents on them. There was always a little bit of a rivalry with the Metropolitan Police Service. They didn't used to share their resources or their intelligence or anything. It is theorised that this lack of cooperation between the 2 police services is a big part of the reason for why Jack the Ripper managed to get away scot-free. The church you see over here on the left-hand side is St Dunstan's in the west. Now, the clock hanging off of St Dunstan's was the first outdoor clock in England to have a minute hand. This clock is also called the politician's clock by Londoners because it has 2 faces. We're just heading down Fleet Street at the moment. It's a very famous street here in London. Fleet Street is also nicknamed Ink Street because it was on the street that all the nation's newspapers used to operate out of. And even today, it is still said to be the spiritual home of journalism. Though one thing I probably would not do on Fleet Street is give myself a haircut, as this was also the headquarters for the, albeit fictional, Sweeney Todd.